Just like in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, there's sand everywhere, and he just sees some nuts on a truck. He has a revelation.
This is nut
Boom.
country. He's just freaking out in his convertible.
Yeah. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Lore Boys. I'm James Miller. Who else is here today?
I'm Action Ethan, ready to park my keister and listen to an episode. It's Action Park, right? We're doing?
Maybe not. I haven't told the boys yet. Who else is here?
I'm Pete. I'm driving an old car from, I think, New York to Paris. Was that the road?
Okay.
Was what it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So normally we go with the fake history tag, the number one fake history, but we are doing some real history today. But before that,
we are
let's
number 2
thank-
real history podcast, number 1 fake history. But we're coming up there, so you can leave us a rating on your podcast app of choice.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to thank our very real patrons from this real timeline. Pete, do you have those folks?
I do, and because we did accidentally take an episode out behind a shed and shot it in the head by accident. So I don't know who we've called out, but I'm going to go back here. So big shout outs and thank yous to, I'm just going to start here. Mark Fowler, Just a Little Bit of Chaos, Vincent Novak or Nowak, it's a W, I don't know. Aiden Obrecht, and then 45 minutes ago, Under the Wire, Void Knight. Nice job, dude.
Nice job.
Yeah, and
Already
then
in the
also I'd like to
Discord, too.
thank
Hell yeah.
our fake patrons. The big man, Jesus Christ himself, and Vice President Kamala Harris. Actually, she's got some time on her hands now while she's campaigning. Listen to Lore Boys on the road. I hear she's a big fan of Bionicle.
I think the metaphor for last week's episode isn't that we took the episode out back and shot it.
No, we starved it to death like a Tamagotchi. Is what happened.
Yeah, I think like to use that same analogy, it'd be more like we had a Rube Goldberg or like a Jigsaw-esque contraption set up in the back to shoot our episode if none of us thought to download it in 7 days.
After 7 days.
Yes,
And
that is true.
I almost always download it after 7 days too. But this time I wasn't at home. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be fine. It'll be on the drive.
Because we do have a
nothing to worry
backup system, but apparently the backup system only works whenever I start the recording, which is what we learned in this process. So,
and I've edited the show in 7 years 3 times, maybe in intense emergencies when both the boys asked me to. So it's not in my muscle memory at all.
I think I've done the art as many times as Pete has edited an episode.
Exactly.
Yeah, we missed a lot of jokes on my nuts falling out at the gym too. It's a shame. Those are gone for.
Hey,
for
listen,
ages.
It was a good app.
Don't get rid of the shorts. We're gonna redo it in 8 weeks when we've forgotten some of the content. It's all good. It's all good.
So on to this week's topic. The boys, like I said, are in the dark still on this one. All I've told them is that it's real life. It's kind of like Action Park vibes, where it's just a very funny thing that happened in history.
You've been hyping it up to me personally since Sunday. You've had this idea for several days, and you were so proud of it. I'm looking very forward to it.
It's the most ridiculous topic, like that you could think of.
The founding of Guantanamo.
No, that's not
MK
so
Ultra?
wacky.
Was it how the CIA laundered all that crack cocaine to fund Iran Contra, or?
Yeah, I don't know if the CIA like had played a part in this legal battle, but there was a legal battle, and no one really asked for this episode. But our patron LJ, I want to give a big shout out to LJ. He's been really active in my Twitch, Loreboy James. He's been really active in Discord. He's been engaging in the community.
Active on Instagram as well, at Loreboys Podcast. Wonderful, yeah, really good.
Yeah, thanks
Forklift
LJ
driver as well. We got ourselves another one.
Yeah, yes, certified.
Yeah. So thanks for joining the community. You too, you can too. Just discord.tg/loreboys. He definitely influenced me on this episode. I was going to do the Cola super deep borehole, like just the Russian.
I almost guessed that when I was fake guessing episodes, but then I was like, I'll go darker.
It was a lot. When I was looking into that, it was a lot of not as funny stuff. It was just like a lot of trials and tribulations. So I was like, it would be a lot of work, and I would have to write more funny. So I just found something funny to start with, and just did so I started looking for entertaining real life stories, and this one felt like low hanging fruit. It's a story of 2 men who ended up becoming arch nemesis over what seems like the silliest invention of the late 90s into the 2000s. Do you guys have any idea what it might be?
Jetpack.
Jetpack's a good one. It's I know the dollop covered a jetpack. They also covered this topic.
And there is two guys who become mortal enemies over the invention of the jetpack.
I wonder. There's a movie that's like this called Envy with Ben Stiller and Jack Black in it that I liked a lot.
The Poobygone or whatever.
Vapu Rise.
Yeah, Christopher Walken.
Yeah, exactly. In the late 90s, enemies, if it's stupid, I want to say maybe it's because
really dumb.
Is it relevant to you at all?
No, I don't.
Because I was gonna say, just like, is there a blood feud in Tech Deck for some reason? Like, I have
no.
Is it like
trucks are involved, but not the
it-
same one that you would that would
it's
be on
not
a Tech
Heelys, is it?
No, he said trucks are involved.
Well, the trucks are part of a skateboard. I don't know if there's a little
not the same ones
inside of a Heely, right? I don't know.
Yeah, remember this sounded like low-hanging fruit. We're doing truck nuts, boys.
No. No way.
God.
Okay.
We're doing the invention of truck nuts.
You know, if we were full-time professionals, we could bury the lead in our previous episode. So all of our nut talk on the previous episode that we lost, that we neglected to death, could have set up. Like, we could really, you know, like there's the joke that Nick Mullen has about like the CIA does something. He's just like, all right, boys, the final step, the clues is like the final. That's how they put the bow on every op they do.
Yeah.
It would be so funny if we could do that. Maybe we're doing it now, listener. You don't.
All of my episodes. Go back and listen. There's all been clues leading up to truck nuts.
Okay. Yeah. The first letter of every sentence is a list of Hillary Clinton's crimes. Basically, if you put them all in a row.
I will say, so for the those of us who listen to the show but aren't on the Patreon, we do something called loser titles for the patrons, which is essentially we're writing down subtitles throughout. I'm writing down subtitles, or Pete's writing down subtitles throughout the episode that we think would be a funny subtitle for the show, and we pick one that is actually the subtitle for the show. All the other ones we throw at the patrons before the episode is released
without
or announced.
Context.
We explained this a lot last week because we gave free bonus out. So it's good that they're fresh if they've been listening.
So the community turned into a game where they try and guess what it is. I am so confident that no one is going to get this. That the first loser title I have written down is Truck Nuts: the episode. And I don't think anyone is going to guess Truck Nuts lore. So
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about this, like, how could anyone guess this? I feel like we got like I not to like challenge them too much, but I guess this comes out after the guessing game. But like Fragile Shark or someone like that, I feel like they could just like
he's got some
knock it out of the park.
Pandolo too, just some like random snipes.
Yeah. There's a couple of the lifers who've been around for some of our pension collectors. I think. Are in our minds a little bit where we're too clever by a half, but they know our every move, right?
Yeah. Well, we don't remember all the shit we talk about. They remember it, so it's like they I feel like they've listened to us more than a lot of our friends have listened to us.
Yeah.
But anyways, truck nuts. So plastic testicles, minor trend. They're mostly seen on 4x4 trucks. These dangling ornaments were popular in the mid to late 2000s.
You would not be surprised to hear that the only pair, it's like jeans, right? It's a pair, right? Pair of truck nuts.
I think so.
Right?
I would say.
I think it's like more of a pair than jeans. Well, I guess jeans is like a pair of legs, but I think a pair of nuts, it's just clearly two.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know what the technical term is, but the only pair of nuts I've ever seen. Sorry?
With nuts, they are testicles, but like with truck nuts, it is a single piece of cast iron, right?
Right.
They're mostly plastic, I think.
Or rubbery, maybe.
Plastic? Oh,
well, they're different. There's different
I'm
companies.
glad that these are breaking down and we're getting little microplastics of truck nuts in all of our blood.
It's like it's the truck nut microplastics in our balls are like the dino nuggets, right? It's like the SAT question would be that, because of course the chicken is descended from like dinosaurs. Yeah. The only pair of truck nuts I've seen are on the back of a guy's truck who lives in the town I grew up in, and he, as far as I know, predictably still lives at home and still has his truck nuts on the back of his the back of his pickup.
We had some at our high school. There was like a gold pair on the back of a truck that always parked near the metal shop. I remember like seeing it on my bus ride out of the school.
I don't remember it.
I feel like you'd castrate your truck if you hit a speed bump if they were made of metal, right? Like if you welded them on, because you have to weld it to the frame. So the rubber.
No, they dangle. They dangle.
Yeah, the rubber makes more sense to me.
You just
I
hang
think
it
they would.
off
They're
the,
not rubber.
the
You said
hitch.
plastic, and I think metal would just it's just like it would just swing up if you hit it. It would. I think
Yeah,
metal's
You
pretty.
put like a hinge on their balls. I
It's-
mean,
I'm not
Peter,
I'm not
it's the same
100%
reason-
on. I'm not 100% on the plastic thing.
It's
I
for-
always
it's-
imagine
it's-
it's plastic. I saw them; they're all colored, and they
the
don't
testicles
look
are
shiny.
aftermarket. They have to be attached, right?
It's-
It's not. It's part of the
Yeah.
frame.
Yeah, I mean they clip onto a hitch though, right?
Yeah.
It's for the same reason that they don't make cars out of plastic and they use metal, is because it's more resistant to hitting things on the road, right?
Yeah, I was just thinking of
Would
like
be
a
my
bad
guess.
weld, right?
Oh, I don't think you'd weld them on. That's a commitment. That's getting a tattoo of truck nuts, just welding them on.
Can you imagine getting your truck nuts on your truck covered up with like a Batman thing? Just like there's just like a Batman signal like now hanging out the back of your truck.
You think it hurts the truck whenever they hit it on something? Like the honk goes off every time they hit the nuts.
Yeah, or like comes through the comes through the radio.
Yeah, it refuses to drive. It just pulls itself over for like whatever 3 minutes.
So yeah, in the mid to late 2000s, they became really popular. What was once a rare accessory turned into a wildly popular novelty. And over time, their popularity only increased. Truck nuts appearing on TV shows. The term becoming a part of everyday language. We always talk about these.
Yeah, I think every single day. I think
Yeah.
once a week I think about the Roman Empire. Every single day I think about truck nuts.
Yeah.
Fair to say.
They even sell like little sacks for your bike seat too, that look like little 2 LED lights that'll dangle. And in the Vice article I read, they showed just like an attractive woman from behind with these 2 little.
I mean,
These
I
two
don't
little-
see why I have to get a smaller pair for my bike. It doesn't make me
True.
less of a man to be riding a bike, okay?
Yeah.
The only problem is they hang it from the seat, so if it goes too
Yeah.
low, it'll be in the back wheel and it'll
I'll
get all
deal with
tangled up.
Oh,
I'll
it
deal
doesn't
with
hang
it,
under the
okay?
thin part of the seat, like where your nuts actually are.
I live my life having to deal with my comically sized testicles, okay? I can deal with them dragging on a bike tire. All right?
Yep. Dude, I found
Just
my
the
old
mud in the
iPod.
back.
Match one side perfectly. Like.
Yeah. I found my old iPod recently. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a picture of Ethan's nuts on there somewhere. Yeah.
Save that. It's going into the presidential library.
So not everyone was excited about the idea of nuts being put on display for all to see. So before they got popular, a few states tried to ban them, labeling them as obscene.
Mhm.
Ooh, okay. It's got to be not like the
Utah.
dorky. I was gonna say not the dorky in like the actual like the bully, because you could bully California or New York, I think, as like actual dorks, because you have like newspaper guys and like Hollywood or like and tech people. I'm thinking
got
it's gonna be
4.
one of.
We
Okay.
Utah's
got 4.
one.
I'm
Utah's
gonna say
one.
that they all got to be conservative states, 100%, because it's obscene. Utah,
I don't know
sure.
enough about states.
Is Utah not one?
Utah's not one.
I would have
Okay,
thought the
maybe
Mormons.
Nevada.
No.
Arizona. Is it
home
too
of
hot
Las
for
Vegas?
No, I think it would
Yeah.
be weird, but like
In
outside
Arizona,
of the strip.
they dangle too much.
Yeah, they
It's so
drag.
hot.
Yeah.
No, you haven't got any yet.
Could I get a time
Well, there's
zone?
only like 3 more states, so I think we got it by default.
Yeah.
Right? At this
Alaska,
point.
because it's too cold, they just shrink up and you can't actually see them under the bumper.
Yeah. You're asking a lot of me to know the time zones of all states, I feel like. I only know a couple, and it's the ones that I game with. I know Texas, I know California, but all of these I don't really know exactly the time zones. But
Okay,
Missouri.
I said Missouri.
Oh, you did?
so it started with Florida. Florida wanted
Really?
to get rid of the truck nuts in 2008.
Truck nuts are
Wow,
woke.
of all states.
Yeah.
Of all states,
Not
that-
woke.
I think that was bottom on my list. Maybe
Yeah.
truthfully.
And then soon after, politicians in Virginia, Maryland, and South Carolina also took a stand against.
Really? All East
Sure.
Coast. Fucking losers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Huh. Virginia, it seems, I guess, in my head, rural, but I mean, like,
Very rural.
Everybody in DC, every reptile you can think of lives in Virginia. Like, that's just right.
Or Maryland, actually. So it seems like it's the senators that don't want to see this when they're
Yeah, okay.
they're
okay.
done.
Some states even began issuing fines. In 2011, a woman in Virginia was fined $445 for having a pair of big old danglers on her vehicle.
That's so
Wait,
funny.
lizards don't have that. Like, do lizards have scrotums? They have internal. They got
They're
internal
internal, yeah.
testes, right? So that's why the lizards want to ban them.
Yeah, truck
No
cloaca.
danglers.
You
Yeah,
just like
it's
cut a slit in the tailgate, all your shit falls out of it.
Yeah, you got to keep the nuts in the tailgate, like, or else they get too cold.
Is how we
Yeah.
make our million by making truck cloacas that hang off the back of your pickup truck.
I think so. Yeah, that'll never get banned in DC.
Truck ginas for your gas tank.
Oh, that'd be for an electric car.
You gotta
You got like the
gas
Brazilian wax over your gas over the
Yeah.
gas tank.
Got a little landing strip sticker on top.
Yeah.
Little,
Yeah. Like just the gas like sputtering at the end and like shaking a little bit before pulling.
Yeah, you like
2 minutes, then it shoots it all out in one
yeah,
shot.
yeah. you spill gasoline all over it because you can't. You're like pushing rope.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, I heard this is mostly pee. You're like, it's not. It's gasoline.
It was impossible for this one not to get a little bit blue with the topic. I knew it was going to happen, but so yeah, in 2012, a man was pulled over in South Carolina and ticketed for his balls. The police report had a section that read, "The vehicle was displaying an obscene object from the rear bumper. The object was a pair of large fleshy testicles."
Ooh, fleshy.
So how do these balls hit the market, huh? We got two guys who led the charge on this, and they steal the show. There's actually a third guy, but he's mentioned as Switzerland in the article. This was a guy named, let me make sure I get his name right, from Vice Canada. Mac Lamoureux did the investigative journalism on this.
Nice job.
And it's great. And now it's been covered on YouTube channels, on popular podcasts everywhere. It's just, in 2015, the story broke.
Is this old Vice? Yeah, I was gonna say 2015 because this has got to be vintage Vice before it was just like kind of crude listicles. But I mean, before they of course went bankrupt, right?
Yeah.
Because like the old Vice was like wacky stuff or like fucking heroin dealers in Thailand and shit, right?
Yeah, the crocodile documentary in Russia, like the guys injecting themselves with like heroin and gasoline, right?
Yeah. I think I've quoted this before. One of the founders of Vice was telling a disgusting story. Again, it's a rude episode. This is 18+. He and the other founder of Vice were double teaming a girl, right? And his penis went inside the other guy's condom. So it like his condomed penis went inside the other guy's inside the other guy's condom somehow.
Insane.
And then I remember whoever was interviewing it was just like, "Did you guys stop?" He's just like, "Nah, man. I mean, mobsters burying a body, your shovels clink together, you just ignore it and keep going." It's just one of the funniest fucking things I've ever heard.
Man.
That's insane. Yeah.
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 Not insane to let your freak fly like that, but insane to be the founder of like a media company and then do that interview and tell that story. Right? It's
Yeah.
I know.
It's the crazy part.
Yeah.
Well, on we got some other crude and rude folks here leading their companies.
Mhm.
We got our two guys. So we got David Ham. Think of him as like, he loves just like amping up the fleshiness, the veininess. He likes to make it like realistic and
Okay.
Ham is a ridiculous name for
David
a guy
Ham.
who is going to do this.
for someone who hams it up.
Yeah.
yeah, he leans into the grossness of it.
I love this idea of the guy being like, "No, I won't let you make." It's like the story of the CEO of Costco saying, "I'll fucking kill you if you lower the price of the hot dogs."
Yeah.
If you take the veins off the scrotum.
Yeah. So, and he has like, you could go online and like he has a bunch of videos where he like talks about them and he really like plays up like the part that people get mad about. He's leaning all the way into that. Like, so that's David Ham.
If he took this seriously and was just like, if he was like one of these like AI fucking dorks now of just like, no, this will change the world. It's like, you just want to make money. You're just making bad Google. This guy is making a joke product for clowns and hillbillies, and he knows it. I respect this. Unless he's the villain of the story, I respect this setup. Right, the origin story, top tier.
His personal politics notwithstanding, I do think that I do think he's probably right. Like I don't. You haven't told me what the other guy's deal is. But I do think leaning into the obscenity probably makes a lot more headlines, probably gets a lot more traction, probably makes the joke better, and probably actually sells a lot more of these things, right?
I hadn't planned on posting the links, but this is what he owns. It's called yournuts.com with a Z. And this is where you
Stolen Chippendale clip art on a pile of scrotums. Great.
Yeah, Chippendale clip art is exactly it. With just like inside a pile of.
And this has been done in Paint because there is just like fucking pixels everywhere.
Oh my god! Go to the site. He's got like a faux. He's got like himself and his friends drawn as like King of the Hill, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
He has like a
straight up
big-breasted
website from the
lady.
90s, man.
This is very
a big
cool.
breasted
actually.
cartoon lady selling 2-inch keychains.
Oh, dude, he's got fucking truck nuts for a kid in a wheelchair. Oh yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
And they're so big the wheelchair's tipping.
Yeah. Okay.
16-inch. Holy moly!
Yeah.
Those are big.
You can get silver chrome, desert camo, urban camo, woodland camo, silver chrome. Oh, okay, there's just all the colors and all the things. And he claims to be the inventor of this.
Okay.
So that's David Ham. There's a video of David Ham himself hamming up these nuts right there.
Is this
I was very tempted to click on it and just mute myself while I enjoyed this piece of art. But
I'm gonna save it to my watch later. Oh no, we'll watch it after the show, I guess.
Yeah.
One thing I don't know if this is gonna come up in the show. Did they mold these from memory, or did one of these guys have their? Is this like an IP fight?
Yeah, I will get to the manufacturing. I'll get to the manufacturing.
Good. Yeah, because I know you can buy like a fleshlight from a porn star that is like cast from her pussy. So I'm just wondering if this is like the IP fight over. It's like, well, they're my balls. It's like, well, I paid for the manufacturing, right?
Pete bought one of those flashlights and he has it in the gas tank of his car.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So next up, we have on the other side, who's the more reserved, but equally they're kind of both villains in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
John D. Saller. John Saller, the founder of Bulls Balls.
Saller and Ham.
Saller and Ham. Here's your Bulls Balls. These are a different design. Big boy nuts, second generation.
Bulls Balls with a I feel like a cuckoldry is talked a lot about in today's online culture, and calling them Bulls Balls. I just cannot help but picture they're like for the guy who's fucking your wife, and you just like you clip him on
put it on his car.
You put him on him because you want a guy with impossibly large testicles to be fucking your wife, right?
Of
like
course.
no human man could have the testicles that you need.
I'll post a picture. This kind of the website eventually turns to this, where it says balls for every style.
Yeah,
and there's a guy smoking a cigar and all camo.
Camo guy smoking a cigar, and it's the camo pattern on the balls themselves.
Yeah, it's but it's like duck hunting camo, so it's like dead leaves and whatnot, like just printed directly on it. Okay, cool.
No. It's also fun to note that another player in the game who is a lot more quiet. They're like the what Vice calls the Switzerland of the balls battle. There is Wilson Kemp. He's an 81-year-old retired high school administrator, and he was in the competition, but he stuck to himself like a ball would on a leg, and he stayed out of the drama.
He's 86 now, or he was 86 20 years ago when this was going on?
He 81 in 2015.
Okay.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah.
I hope if you're still out there, sir, congratulations. You did the right thing by not getting involved.
Yeah. I hope they give him a fucking funeral in the White House whenever he goes.
Like everyone's carrying his casket and there's balls
hanging off. Yeah, obviously. The Rwandan guys in the tuxes like dancing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you did Six Flags first.
Yeah.
Six Bags.
So yeah.
Pretty good.
Thanks. That's all right.
So David Ham is who we're going to talk about first. This is the guy who's the crude, rude, loves to just get on the internet and almost like TV salesman, sell his nuts, right?
Billy Mays.
Yeah, like Billy Mays, exactly.
Billy Mays for nuts.
Bally Mays. Yeah.
Bally Mays.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So David Ham sometimes goes by the name Bozzy Willis. He has it'll come up later. That's important. He goes, when he's trying to hide his name, he calls himself Bozzy Willis.
It's like a terrible fake name. So like, And sir, what did you say your name was? I'm Buzzy. Bobby's right there. Why go Bozzy?
Well, that'd be too predictable.
I guess. Yeah.
David Ham's a very unique fella.
Clearly.
We brought up the CIA earlier. I was listening to an interview with an ex-CIA guy who was doing it was on Chapo or True or Not, I can't remember. He wrote a book looking for some CIA spook, who's done way more stuff that you've heard of than he kind of disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
One of his disguises when he would go undercover in different countries was he would wear regular clothes, not change anything about himself, except he would wear a diamond tooth in his mouth. And it always worked because the only thing anyone would remember about him is just like it was a guy with a diamond tooth, nothing else.
Just stuck out so much.
Yeah, so he's like Bozzy Williams with a diamond tooth. Like all you remember is the diamond. Sorry.
Yeah. So we're talking about how this great idea came into the minds of our two guys here.
Okay.
So the lore for Bozzy Willis, or David Ham, his real name. He told Vice that he came up with this great idea during a desert rally in the 1980s. So he was driving behind another truck, and this truck had made a custom pair of nuts. And he thought in his mind, wow, what an amazing idea. Nuts on a truck? Now that's something. And he brought the balls out of his imagination and into reality in 1996. He quit his job. He cashed in all his savings, and he went all in on the nuts, baby. Balls
Bet
deep.
the house on it.
Yeah.
Bet the house on balls.
But he had a hard time finding someone to mass produce the testes. But as Michael Jordan once said, all your shots are blanks if you never shoot. So after his 10th attempt, he found a molding shop willing to produce them. And he started selling them, and he actually started making a lot of money. Especially once people started being like, we have to ban those, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Then the people who like truck nuts are like, you can't take my truck nuts away from me and put them on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The Second Amendment has such broad coverage now. It's just like anything you want to take away from somebody, it's like, it's my goddamn right.
Yeah.
Yep.
What if the English come back and I need to beat them to death with silicone testicles, 18-inch silicone testicles?
I was thinking of George Washington crossing the Delaware with just nuts dragging behind the boat that they're rowing across the river.
He's got the lantern in his hands, but there's like a little nuts hanging off the lantern, right?
Yeah. Well, Paul Revere has lantern nuts too.
That guy running through the town square. The F-150 is coming. The F-150 is coming, and it's actually coming. Yeah. So he found someone willing to produce them, and he started making money. Now back to the other side of our sack war, John Saller. So the company has like lore, and the old
story
man
is kind of the scrotum, and these guys are the two nuts, right?
Sure.
The three of them. That's the Holy Trinity here that we're talking.
Sure, if you must.
Yeah. I'm just trying to make relevant jokes here, guys. I'm sorry.
I don't think the old man holds them together.
I
think the metaphor breaks down. He's more on the side. He's like
he's more of a grundle of the relationship.
They're all their own nuts. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Every man's his own nut.
I think John Saller and David Ham definitely same sack, because they're just like bouncing back and forth all the time.
Right.
But I don't know. This guy's kind of more external. He's like another nut that would grow on the side of your leg that you didn't want or something.
That would be so inconvenient, because they're so sensitive and they do make you sick when somebody touches them too hard.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine just having they're not convenient to have, I guess I'll say. Woe is me, men have the harder time.
I was going to say, having that is worse than a period or pregnancy. I agree.
Yeah, for sure. But like, boy, having them on like the side of my leg, like in between the legs, is actually pretty okay. They got a nice little nest in there, you know?
Yeah.
But,
so he's not, I guess metaphor breaks down too, because he's not on the side of the leg causing a lot of ruckus. Just don't even think about the other guy. He doesn't come up again in the story. He's gone. Okay. He's a testicle that fell off and probably died by now. So John Saller, we're back to John Saller. David Ham, he saw him in a desert race, just like in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. There's sand everywhere, and he just sees some nuts on a truck. He has a revelation.
This is nut country. He's just freaking out in his convertible.
Yeah. Then we come back to John Saller. and he has his company that tells the story, but there's a real story. But we'll tell the company story first. Apparently, according to the company, Saller was out climbing hills and trucks. You know when they drive the trucks up the hills to try and get them up the really steep hills and over the top?
Yeah,
Sure.
I watched a video of that like 3 days ago where some guy had an F-150 versus a Cybertruck to see like what kind of truck stuff you could actually do with the Cybertruck. Towing the F-150 ripped the bumper off the frame of the Cybertruck, so it did lose the competition, but it also could not do the rock climb. But it looks immensely dangerous, but so fucking fun, man.
Yeah,
It'd be fun to
absolutely.
watch. It'd be fun
Yeah.
to watch.
I'd
So
get in the truck if I had the proper safety equipment.
Well, yeah,
If there
this
was nuts
guy,
on it, I'd trust it.
you got a little jock for your nuts on your truck
Yeah.
before you do it. So the story that went around the company, they're climbing hills and trucks, and John Saller's there. One of his buddies, I don't know why they called him Ernie, but they yelled, "Go Ernie, show him you got balls." And then with that, he daydreamt of a big, beautiful truck with big, masculine balls on the back of it. And
Oh my god!
flopping
Enters
around.
a fugue state while off roading, and he sees his life flash before his eyes, but instead of his life, it's just big plastic testicles.
Yeah. I like to think when he imagined them, they were real balls. You know, they were real fleshy ones. He only
Okay,
could
yeah.
make the plastic ones, but what
Is
he imagined was just actual nuts on a truck.
It's Mater from Cars, just with like what would his nuts look like though? You know, you ever wonder what Mater's rocking down there?
It's got a big gap between them.
No, I don't.
Yeah, like his teeth.
No, I don't care about his cock. I know he's got a massive hog. I want to know about the balls. All right.
Pete, I was thinking, how is Pete gonna have something to draw without just
I
drawing-
wrote one thing
No.
down. I don't know if I'll draw a Mater with balls.
I've already, if we made a joke about the number of times I've done the art, I've already saved a picture of George Washington crossing the Delaware, and I was going to slap some Photoshop truck nuts all over it. So just putting it out there.
I would never stop you. You can upload 10 images at a time on Instagram, dude. If you got eight in the chamber, go for it, because I need 2 spots there.
So the real story wasn't that he was like climbing a massive hill and dreaming of big, beautiful nuts. It was a quote that we got. As far as I've been able to find out, there was a woman in northern Nevada who started selling them in the mid 80s, but a smaller and different look. So a woman,
so
actually,
she's not part of the story.
no.
I
She
do.
didn't go big online.
I do wish, and I know we haven't heard Bozzy's take yet, or Bozzy's origin story yet, but I do so hope that
did.
Boz. Oh, he just thought.
It's-
He saw it. On
He was
somebody
at
else's
the he was at the desert rally and he saw them.
Sorry, yeah, I
in
thought
front
that
of
was,
Bozzy
I
is
thought that was
Ham,
the
right?
80s. I thought that was the
Yeah.
86-year-old one. Yeah, sorry, Ham.
Yeah.
I do wish that one of their stories was that they were dying of dehydration in the Himalayas, going to see a guru or something, you know, and this was the vision that they got, and they came back to America and made their millions. But
What does it mean? What does it mean? He just looks back at the guy who gave him a gourd full of water. He's just blown away into lotus petals. You're like,
blown away
Big
at the time
drag.
of truck nuts.
Dragged to safety, just holding on to a truck's nuts, you know, out of the wilderness. Blub, 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 blub.
Cruising them tighter. Every shot, the nuts are getting bigger and bigger, right?
yeah.
Crossing, getting dragged through a river by truck nuts, and just like, George Washington, is that you? Looking up at him in the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah. George Washington's hands comes through the surface of the Delaware to pull him out, and then it's just he's alone on the boat, and there's just nuts hanging off the back of it. He's like, "What does it mean?" It's like an ayahuasca trip.
So
The nuts came down from the sky and sat next to me on my log.
you can forget about the old guy. The old guy, he doesn't come back. All you need to remember is David Ham, who goes by Bozzy Willis as well, and John Saller. And then also the third guy that comes up a few more times, just he gives a lot of quotes because Saller ends up passing away before the end of our story. So Chad Tombill is his manufacturer and is able to give a lot of the quotes that to give John Saller's side of the story.
Okay, so we're still talking
yeah.
about Saller, but somebody else is going to start telling the stories of his life at some point.
Exactly. Named Chad Tombill. So Saller was inspired by the woman and brought the idea to Chad Tombill, or Tombill. I'm not sure how to pronounce that.
BYLL, yeah, I don't know.
Tombill, a man who works with injection molded plastics. So this is where I got the plastic from.
Okay.
And here's a quote from the guy who was meant to produce the plastic balls and end up doing it. I love this because the guy was trying to explain what balls were, but didn't want to say, "Will you make balls for me?" He's like, "Will you make these, like, you know, this this thing that..."
Okay, so my model is I took 2 large green olives and put them in a paper bag, then soaked the paper bag.
Yeah. There's an Instagram account that I keep sending Pete things where it's like how to draw a bag of marbles against someone's nose, but it's clearly just how to draw a sack against someone's
Okay.
nose. Or how to show different flow coming out from the end of a cylinder. And it's like, so it'll start with just dripping, but look at how you can show the motion of the, and it's like, okay, we know what you're doing. But
I like how he came back from the, I guess the Himalayan vision quest we made up for him. He's come back from the temple at the top of the mountain and is still too shy to describe rubber balls to a guy.
Well, he wants them to say yes, right? It took the other guy 10 tries to get a manufacturer who would make balls. So he comes up to Chad Dummel, and here's Chad's account in a quote. He approached me as a professional. I was in the manufacturing business at the time, and he approached me in a way not to offend me, because he didn't know if I was going to be receptive of the idea.
He didn't know if I was going to be receptive of his balls.
Is what Tombill told Vice. So he just spent more time trying to describe it tactfully, and it took me a long time to know what he was talking about. We were probably talking for an hour and a half before I realized he was talking about balls.
Terrible pitch.
Yeah. So yeah, go
I
ahead.
have been thinking about because you just mentioned plastic again, and I do think that if they were made of like metal, like that will just straight up decapitate a child in a collision, right? That is just a loose projectile. So
I wonder if there have been any truck nut related injuries, like in a crash where like the nuts went through the windshield or something.
Pete and I like desperately to the computer. Okay, I started typing truck nut. Oh, I was writing trucker nut. That's why. I started typing trucker nut injuries, and it came up trucker nut ingredients. I wonder what a tasty dish that would be.
It's a couple dick pills, some gas station eggs, and a bag of Doritos.
I found a law firm called Schwartz and Schwartz, attorney at law, and they said friends don't let friends drive with truck nuts. Self-expression.
Yeah.
You can have a bumper sticker that supports President Obama, or a bumper sticker that supports Donald Trump. You can have a sticker supporting gay rights, or a sticker saying anything you believe marriage should be between a man and a woman. You can show your support for gun control. You can support your support for gun rights. This is too long, yeah.
Okay.
The end is he is forbidden truck nuts, basically. From Ben
Well,
Schwartz.
We can take some time to look into this because the story will start to take a wild turn. The two companies which were established within a few years of each other, John Saller, David Hams, they both wanted to claim dominance in the truck nuts market. But more on that after the break. All right, so welcome back from the break. We've met our main cast here, being Ham on one side, with Your Nuts, and then we have Saller with Bull's Balls, and Tombill. No, it's
Chad
not
Tombill.
Chad
Tombill, Ham, and Saller.
Yeah, and Tombill will be representing Saller here on out. So a lot of the quotes that we're going to get, but it is still Ham versus Saller, and it's heating up. We got the lore of where they came from. Saller's Bull's Balls website was founded in 1999 and Ham's in 2002. But Ham says he had an AOL website that he stopped using in 2002 that was up before then. Vice tried to look into it, but whenever they looked into it, Ham said, "This isn't court. I don't need to prove it." So,
so it's not real. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. It's not super clear who came first. But.
His whole story is that he stole it, right? His whole story was that he's like, yeah, I saw it, and then I copied it at some point.
Yeah. It's not super clear who came first, but it's clear there's a rivalry. The first contact happened in the early 2000s when Saller reached out to him about selling some of the knackers. Because Saller and Ham, they both thought they could like sell each other's merchandise and then be the big ball guy themselves, right?
Okay. Yeah. You've got the experience selling rubber nuts for trucks, and I've got the product. I've got the better. I've got the superior product, basically.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy you out, sort of thing.
Yeah. So this is Ham's account of Saller. Let's keep in mind. This is not what Saller for sure said, but this is what Ham said. He said. So this is a quote from Ham. He called me on the phone one day. He said, "Your nuts don't look enough like bull's balls." I told him that he was the only person to ever tell me that. And then he got all indignant. And he says, "I'll tell you what. I'm going to make my own bull's balls. I'm going to bury you." And that's what Ham said.
Okay. This guy's deranged. I don't believe a fucking word he says. Appreciate the energy.
I wished him the best. And sure enough, about 6 months later, I get these balls in the mail. And it looks like he went to a slaughterhouse and put a mold on a dead bull. And that's how Bull's Balls was born.
Just this other guy just like telling the story is just fantastic. Like his biggest
look, I see Bull's Balls before, okay? It looks exactly like I stole them out back out of the dumpster of a slaughterhouse. That's fucking illegal, okay?
Yeah. It looks like he went down to the slaughterhouse on Kentucky Avenue and went in through the lock where the gate, or went in through the back fence where it's cut a little bit, and he was able to just crawl under a little, and he did it right at the right time when it was the changing of the overnight security guards, and then it looks like he took a cast of a bull's balls. I don't know how he did it. I don't, because I couldn't. I would have no idea how to do such a thing. But that's what it looks like he.
Yeah, so he didn't like. According to Saller or Saller's side, it's not like he got these bull's balls made and like left them on his front stoop like something out of a movie, right? I think in the Vice article they mentioned
he didn't have the flaming paper bag on his with bull's testicles in it, like on his porch or whatever, then ring his doorbell and run away.
Well, your art could be the scene from The Godfather where he wakes up with the horse's head, but it's just truck nuts, right?
That's a reference they made in the Vice article.
There you go.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. But Saller and the teams at Bull's Balls have a different account. So according to Chad Tomble, the manufacturer again, he did hear from Saller about a phone call, but in this version of events, it was Ham who called Saller. So Saller says, "No, he called me." Right?
Of course.
Okay.
We have a quote.
I hate both of these guys. I get what you say when you mean villains. Like, it's something about the guys who insist on putting oversized nuts on the back of their trucks that makes me feel like they're overcompensating for something. I don't know.
And they have to be the biggest nut guy too. They can't just stay in their own lane and make $1 million selling nuts. They have to be the biggest nut guy.
They're just overcompensating in every way. Like they have to be the guy. I didn't call him. He called me because I got the bigger nuts. So the guy with the little nuts calls the guy with the big nuts. You know how it goes in nature. Like. I swear he called me first. Yeah, no, he got one good look at my big bull's nuts and said, "Oh, well, I better give him a phone call." He called me up on the phone.
Yep.
He said, "Boy, Ballsy, you got big nuts. I want to get a piece of that action." I said, "No, I don't think so. I don't think you could handle my nuts." He went off and did his own thing, stupid bull balls, whatever.
Well, the trademark's different. You see, the left nut on mine are lower. All right, he's all about the lower right nut. I said it ain't natural. It ain't natural when it's like that.
Not the way my guy did it. That's why. That's all. I tell you what.
So Chad giving the quote for Saller's side was a lot less heated. He just kind of gave it how he saw it. So David Hammond contacted John, saying that he was the first on the internet and all this stuff. And he told him it wasn't true, and then they developed some disagreements. And that sounds pretty close to probably what happened. I don't know who
That's why this
who.
guy owns a real business in manufacturing and not a novelty truck nut shop, right? Like that's why.
Yeah. So for years, the two clashed through emails and heated phone calls, which were never released to the public. But I would love to see the emails that the two ball guys were sending.
I wonder if these are subject. Like we could do a follow up. If you could do like a FOIA request to get the emails between them. I wonder.
Not to worry, because there's 14,000 words in a forum of them just going back and forth. There's like a full. Yeah, there's like a full novella of them arguing. So if you want that, you can get that. We're going to get to.
Ham, absolutely. And maybe this is a pretty esoteric for people who work in offices. Ham strikes me as the type of guy to copy the subject line instead of hitting reply, and so it just says like re, and the chain says that. That's given his website, his graphic passion for graphic design, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
I think
he's
the discourse
of the Space Jam era. I love it.
The discourse between them would sound a lot like re too, I think. So Ham launched the website allthenuts.com, which I didn't check. I guess I could check now. But he was trying to make a one with a Z. I got it here. Because I can copy paste.
These are going to be like the first hits this website has in 15 years, all from the same country.
It's pulling up all Chinese characters. So
and forever loading. Yeah. So I think it died, but this is
Dragon Casino. No, I mean maybe I must have typed it wrong, but
right. I got the same thing.
Look at this. It's like a Chinese like Weibo app store or something. I don't know, but like with
on that shit.
Like gambling apps.
Yeah, I'm not clicking. It made my computer load for way too long.
Oh, it's just a screenshot. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good God.
But this allthenuts.com, I guess after all the coverage they got, this casino took the domain name and capitalized on that. But
if my life ever falls apart, I've got two options now. I've always wanted to move to a houseboat in Newfoundland. Mm-hmm. Or I'm just going to become a Chinese IP thief, because I would love to be the guy waiting for all the nuts payments to lapse so I could steal them for a casino.
You heard it here first, guys. Watch it when you're going to the bathroom, because Pete is gonna take your
steal your nuts, Mr. Steal Your Nuts over here.
Yeah, Mr. So All the Nuts was gonna be a one-stop shop for all your fake ball sack needs. But to make this happen, he had to collect all the Dragon Balls. Which I didn't write in, but it's very funny to think now. You had to get all the different types of nuts and like unite them on one website, right? Which would eventually become a Chinese casino.
Mm.
We could all be so lucky.
So Ham attempted to get some Bulls balls. So he said to Vice that he tried to buy them. He never received them, didn't get his money back. He's like, I tried to buy them. They just didn't even give it to an honest customer, blah, 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 blah. You know, Ham was pissed off. But
the
Bulls
customer
ball
service queues are like too long for the bull ball store.
For the bull bar, from the bull balls from the abattoir.
Yeah, exactly.
The Bulls balls team says they recognized Ham for who he was because it came in from like bozzywillis@gmail.com or something.
Okay, yeah.
And they just refused to sell it to him, and they refunded his money. But despite this, Ham listed Bulls balls on his website. He found a way to list them on his website and tried to sell them without Saller's permission. Prompting
definitely
Saller
feels like you get in trouble for that.
Yeah, there's a boomer internet war that started right about now, and this is in like the mid 2000s. People who are just learning to use the internet, and there's a full on like Facebook beef, everything.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. And it predates YouTube, which is so great. It's like old internet, man.
It's real salt of the earth stuff.
Yeah.
So Saller makes a post on the Bulls Balls website titled "Truck Nuts: A Quest for the Truth," where he just talks shit about Ham and his brother Kenneth. He says their business practices are bad.
Kenneth Cats and Strays. What the fuck?
Well, apparently Kenneth is like in on this too. He's also part of the internet war, like going on making posts and shitting on Saller too.
Okay.
So they're in business together, Kenneth and Ham. Kenneth and Ham. But yeah, so he says bad business practice. They're nuts, lower quality. Everything sucks. And then Ham comes back with a quote. They're lying. That has been their motive since they started, to badmouth and belittle my company at every turn. Doesn't surprise me in the least. So Ham hops in his car and he goes from New Mexico to California under the alias Bozzy Williams. And he goes into Tomeville Plastic himself to try and secure the nuts, or secure the bag, I guess. So he's trying to get some Bulls balls for himself.
This is insane.
I presume that when he drove up, because he drove up in his truck for sure. He's got his truck nuts on there, but he's disguised as Bozzy Williams, so he has the little like Groucho Marx glasses, like with the fake nose and the mustache on the truck nuts, right?
Yeah.
No one can recognize him by his truck nuts.
Yeah, the nose and the mustache above the balls. Like, Yeah. Chad Tombill, he's seen all the videos of Ham putting on the internet, so he recognized Ham or Bozzy Wellness, and he like calls Saller to be like, "Hey, just so you know, your big competitor just showed up at the plant, and he's trying to steal a bunch of balls or buy them or whatever." So
if he had like the big sack over his shoulder that's just
But
also
there's
shaped
two.
like a giant scrotum.
There's two. Maybe that's good art. It's a guy leaving a plant with a sack-shaped sack because it's not just putting balls out there. I feel like it's hard to ride the line there, but but so Bozzy goes, he gets thwarted. Saller makes another post about it online. He showed up at the plant. He's trying to steal all this stuff. This guy's he's a fraud. He's a fake. He says he has a different name. So mid-2000s truck nuts internet beef is going hard right now. So Ham goes the information route, and he strikes back and starts review bombing on forums, just to be like, anywhere Bulls Balls is posted, he's posting there too. And he's like, they're the worst, 0 out of 10. Don't even look like balls.
Don't even taste like balls. Don't even feel like balls. Don't even smell like balls. They just got no balls to them.
Nope.
I would love to meet the person who I've imagined now, who is dissuaded by a negative truck nut review. Just like I was gonna, but
Yeah. We have a quote from one of the things that Ham posted. I'll post it here because you can see the type of spelling you get from a guy who claims to invent truck nuts. Saller and Beeman are weak-minded losers instead of losers who can't compete professionally or legitimately instead of legitimately. This person is harmful. Don't buy from bullsballs.com. Alternatively, there are certainly a few websites that provide exemplary. Why are you getting so fancy now? Support.
You got someone else to write this for him.
Yeah. For the example, allthenuts.com. Bulls Balls, vehicle nuts, bumper nuts are all the same. So he's trying to promote himself. He has a Facebook profile also called Bozzy Willis, and anytime Bulls Balls posts, he's the first guy to post just to like try and dissuade people.
Cool.
Man, oh man.
Just updating, like refreshing his feed all the time, just waiting for the post.
We've hated on social media a lot on this show over the course of our lives, but like this is probably proof that like no, people's brains were broken before. That's the fact that as soon as Facebook opens up, there's this guy instantly acting deranged like this.
Soon a bunch of blogs start appearing across the internet, strongly criticizing Bulls Balls and supporting David Ham. The content
he has like the OG bot farm too, where he's just like got a bunch of.
Yeah, it looks to be copy pasted. So either he got someone to write a clever bot, or he's just Control C and Control V, like sitting at his desk with a bottle of whiskey.
Yeah, that's my money. That's my money. There's no bot at this time.
No, I guess it's like, honey, you haven't manufactured a pair of rubber balls in 6 months. What are you doing? Just throws a whiskey bottle at her.
He cut out from yelling, but he yelled at his wife there.
Yeah, just Discord decided that yelling at your wife is bad.
Get out! Whiskey bottle.
Yeah, I absolutely think it's that. I think this is just pure unhinged hyper focus, right? Just like
so there's an old website called Ripoff Report. It was kind of like think of like an unofficial Better Business Bureau where you could go like report businesses. And
Better Business Bureau, also unofficial. It's just a company.
Oh, is it?
And you just pay them to give you a good rating. Essentially, it's like a big scam.
Okay. Well, it's an even more unofficial one called Ripoff Report, which was the war place for an epic 17,000 word back and forth between the Nutmen.
17,000. Jesus Christ.
The Nutmen.
Yeah. It took place over the first half of 2009. They both would pretend to be, sometimes they'd post as themselves, but then they would pretend to be someone else. And then as soon as it became insulted, would quickly obviously just be themselves. Like they would say things that only they would know, and just write in the exact same style. They would do everything but sign their names. So it was just like 10 accounts going back and forth, but 5 and 5 were just two guys,
That's so funny. Imagine it putting all this energy into like curing a disease. Like no one ever has like a war over like something useful,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
All these are still up on ripoffreport.com.
Yeah, you can go through them and it's pretty crazy. So if you guys want to know how to interpret them, the poster, who is usually Ham, would always call Salar Johnny Boy. And the poster who was Salar would call them the unscrupulous Ham Gang for the other time.
That guy wins.
Oh my God.
That guy wins.
To refer to Ham and his brother, because his brother Kenneth would also get in on the posting as well.
Okay.
So if you ever have some time to burn, there's a bunch of stuff. They would post whole cease and desist letters that they've sent to each other. They would accuse each other of things. They would talk about how Salar would say that Ham or his brother would call his employees and threaten them on the phone. Over fake plastic testicles again. They would pretend to be lawyers and copy paste sections of criminal code to each other to try and intimidate each other into like stepping down or backing off. Ham called out Salar for having a domestic dispute that he has criminal charges for. They weren't tech savvy at all, and there's this huge internet battle all over fake truck testicles. It's just amazing.
I clicked one and it's 48 entries long. And it is like there's essentially 4 different complaints on ripoffreport.com, like complaint threads. The one I clicked, the oldest one, is 47 entries long. And it is exactly like you say. It is clearly like our law firm represents JD Sales, LLC JD, a limited liability. Like it is clearly all just that. And like it's crazy long. Crazy long.
All to say though, this fight did start to end because Salar stepped back because he had declining health, and he left this final post under his own name. All of the above posts from the unscrupulous Ham Gang are malicious lies. They should have received letters from my attorneys by now. It's out of my hands, and there will be no more posts from myself. So it all comes to an end, and a few years later, unable to manage the company, Salar sold it to his longtime business partner, Chad Tomble. And after a year away from the truck dust industry, Salar passed in April 2014 with his cherished dog, Dudders, by his side.
Oh,
yeah. The true tragedy is he died of little balls.
Yeah. You have medically small balls, sir.
How long do I have?
Terminal small balls.
Terminally small balls.
How much more shit posting do I have, Doctor? I would stop. I would stop as soon as you get home.
Yeah. So whenever Salar died, Ham, I think being our real villain in the end, because even after death, he said, I read that both his web guy and Salar passed away, Ham said. And I thought, wow, they're both dead. That's amazing. So sort of a happy ending here. Tomble reached out to those who cared for Salar in his final days to find out what happened. And he found out that his golden retriever, Dudders, no one was there to take care of him. So Tomble hopped into his vehicle and drove 500 miles to go get Dudders and took him home and took care of that boy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I thought it was going to be just like, and he hit him in the driveway by accident.
I love
he pulled up.
Hit him, he drove over him with his lifted truck, but the truck nuts just caught
Hit
him
him
on
in
the
the
head.
brain.
And took him out.
So Mac Lamoureux, this is his joke, but the way he ended the article is like, Tomble drove west for 500 miles to go get Dudders. There were no nuts hanging from his truck on the drive. Like, yeah, he took the nuts off. You know, you have to like, take your hat off. You know?
Yeah, it's like
He-
having
he-
the flag at half mast.
He hangs
basically.
them upside down.
Yeah. Big thanks to Mac Lamoureux from Vice Canada for doing the investigative journalism on this. That was a really cool story, and he got a lot of really good quotes. A lot of stuff that I think a lot of people would have missed out on. I know like the Dollop has done it. I haven't heard their episode, but it's hard not to find this story funny. It's just the most ridiculous thing, and then just two men duking it out over fake balls. Like,
Hell yeah.
that's a slice of life right there, huh?
It is.
Absolutely.
It's
Could
just an
be-
authentic,
could happen to any of
thing.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming, guys. If you want to hang out with me, I did stream this week on Monday for the first time in a while. I'm starting to get back a little bit into a normal schedule. the honeymoon phase is over, so I'm getting time to myself again. I streamed on Monday. We just played some random games. We did some shopping and stuff. So it's Loreboy James on Twitch. Thanks for all the subs and all the stuff there. And if you want to hang out with me and chat, discord.gg/loreboys is where it's at. Thanks Commodore for the double boost this week, helping keep our custom URL and throw it off to you guys.
Afloat.
And keeping the audio better, I think, as well. Thank you very much.
Pete, you want to talk about Instagram?
Yeah, Loreboys Podcast on Instagram. Check it out. Patreon.com/TheLoreBoys. If you want to check out a preview of my comic, that is also available with all of our bonus episodes, which we gave one away because we fucked up last week. So if you like that, there's 200 hours more.
Yeah. Patreon.com/TheLoreBoys. That's where you get all the good stuff. If you like the show, consider leaving us a review on your podcast app of choice and telling your friends. It's the only way we grow. We're all organic like these nuts, baby.
If you're new, if you're just coming in for the truck nuts, you can hear an example of a bonus episode last week of just me and Peter chatting because our episode got killed by the internet. So we put out a free bonus. If you're ever curious what that's like, check out last week's episode and you can see if you like it or not. We got like 200 of those, almost 200 hours worth at least. I think in Patreon. So
yeah, we call it boys lore, typically the bonus, because it's what people, it's stories from our life more than anything else. So if you've ever been boys curious, and the last week,
Boy, howdy, have I.
Good stories. Ethan's birthday preview is coming up tomorrow, and then also Ethan saw a UFO.
Yeah, I saw a UFO. I told the story of seeing the UFO.
Yeah,
and I'm not a believer, but
getting there.
You never know. Getting there slowly and surely, one UFO at a time. So, obviously, for those who don't trust Patreon, we do have Loreboys Prime, a service which we've always offered. We do need you guys to send us in this week, our Lore Nation, our Lorebonian soldiers, to break into your nearest abattoir and get us some bull nuts for a non-related thing. We're not gonna do truck nuts, but
actually, what if we did? Nut trucks. What if we did nut trucks? We had little trucks you can hang from your nuts.
Okay.
Oh,
Now we're cooking with gas. Now we're cooking with gas,
like a little
baby.
Hot Wheels, like a little Hot
Yeah. If you can do the splits real good, maybe you could roll down the kitchen tile or something, you know?
Oh,
Shit,
okay, yeah.
You just like tuck your legs in and like cannonball straight down one of those little orange tracks, like.
Oh yeah, oh dude, hit the fucking loop de loop.
Yeah. You hit the accelerator tile, it rips your nuts clean off.
You know, it's really funny. Last week, the episode that got deleted, our whole bonus was about nuts too. It was about cutting off your nuts and mailing them to us to get you more powerful because we established that having less nuts was more powerful. But now this week,
that's
more
true.
nuts is more
Oh,
powerful.
and there was the prostate reformation too, nailing your nuts to the church door.
Yeah.
It's all lost. It's all lost to the
All
ages
lost.
now. But
Lost tapes.
Rip.
But anyways, get your nut trucks coming soon to the store.
Good luck figuring out which episode we deleted by accident. I'm sure you're waiting for that.
Get us your bull balls first, and then you'll get your nut trucks.
Yeah.
I think that would cost you Loreboys.
Loreboys.
Out.
Ouch.